Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio. Touchdown! Flipping Made Easy studio coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio 3 times now. That's they're just getting all their money's worth right now. It is Sturch, the return of Gooch. Welcome back to the show, buddy. And of course, Nick behind the glass, Madison in the building, and for some odd reason, Scoop is here, just kind of moseying in the background in the dark shadows. He came and got his whatchamacallit, he got his helmet, his brand new Trevor Lawrence authentic big ass. You can't wear it though, which I was really upset about. I saw that there was like a bottom out where you can't like just put it on, because I think that would be dope. But
Scoop will be trying it on. He'll be like Warren from
Have you seen my baseball?
Yeah. Have you seen my helmet?
He's seen my wiener. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning into the show. If you want to support Chop Sports, please do so by heading on over to patreon.com/Chop Sports. That's the way to do it. And let me tell you something, the incentives are getting just a little bit higher because, as you could see, based off the latest episode of the Break Buds, if you're a member of this, you could be automatically entered into all these contests that these guys are doing. The giveaways, not really a contest. I guess it's just like a giveaway, like a random.
Yeah, there's giveaways. There's small slices to be given out. We gave away 5 spots in the last helmet break. I want to talk about this now because Scoop's here. Reach out to me if you don't understand the way things work with breaks, because there's been some confusion.
People don't even know what the word breaks means.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, please just reach out before you start spending money, because I will gladly give you the rundown on how it all works. And we are going to be auctioning off live. We're not going to go through eBay on this one, but a signed autographed jersey, much like the helmet we did. We had fun doing the live sale.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was awesome.
That worked out.
I felt like you know what I felt like Rob was? He was the guy that was like
the auctioneer.
Yes.
Like I had a small conversation with Rob. He handled himself really well because look,
he was hyped.
Joe and everything. Neither one of us are the type, if that makes sense, to like be very.
You need a hype man.
We needed a hype man, and Rob is A1 hype man for
the I definitely want to get in here for one of those things, because I'll pull one of those shoot him McGavins, and like if I don't win, I'm just gonna grab it anyway. Like, well, leave that's Mr. Gilmore, and then like Rob will come running after me, like in the middle of the field. But anyway, yeah. So the Break Buds was awesome. Some new podcasts just dropped this morning. Of course, the goddamn Jets is also available on the Chop Sports Podcast Network. Lots to talk about with the Jets because of Zach Wilson and the signing of. They just got a tackle. Dwayne
Brown,
him too. Yeah, him. He's with the Jets now. But also, I want to let you guys know that there's a brand new episode of A Sit Down with Sturch featuring myself and Joe LaCorey, who's actually in the chat right now. It is a fantastic conversation to be had. He talks about pretty much life growing up, making the Sunday gravy. Yes, I said gravy. Sorry, folks. It's gravy to me, not sauce. But anyway, you can go check that out. I've shared out a couple reels already. We had a really good conversation. He's a really good dude. So just checking out the chat real quick. What's up to Ash? What's up to Sam, Carl, Tony, Joe, everybody. We're all in the building today. It's a big happy family. As we had Optimum in here. His name is William. He's a fine gentleman. He was a nice guy.
I'm not a fan of William.
No, I'm not a fan of any of those guys, but I actually did. You won't be able to see this, but it's living proof that William is working on the tap that was wrong with our internet. So hopefully it all holds up. Hopefully it all works out. He said to me that there was a guy on the pole this morning at 8:30. And when were we testing? When I said it was crashing around that time. So I'm hoping it all gets brought together and we don't have to deal with this shit anymore because the internet sucks. And I blame Optimum's customer service, because I found out also today that every individual that I talk to from Optimum is coming to me live from Africa.
Wait, really?
Yes. And I found that out today. So no actual help, because they have no idea what the hell's going on. So shout out to Optimum. But anyway, let's get to the rundown. We did have a nice, awesome, arty presentation, but because of all the internet stuff, the woes continue. The internet goes away. So Gooch, just take over.
So due to all the issues we dealt with this morning, this might be a little all over the place, less than organized is what we'd like to call this. So MLB, I'll start off with the call-ups. There was a bunch of them that took place over the weekend. I'm not sure if you covered any of them, but
which one? Sorry.
Well, we talked a little bit briefly about Vaughn Grissom, the Braves.
I thought he was Marquise's kid. He's not.
He's not. Yes, but the Mets, they see the Braves calling up all these guys. They call up their top prospect, which I think is a perfect situation. They got Luis Guillorme. I think I'm saying his name right. He's dealing with an injury, and Eduardo Escobar. Right? Is that the Met? Right? Eduardo Escobar would be filling in for third base. Instead, they got this Brendan Batty. One of the Met fans could correct me on the enunciation, or the pronunciation. But Brendan Batty, number 18 prospect in all of baseball. a possible good bat for the Mets that they maybe waited a little too long to bring up, but they see the Braves doing it.
They're not hard, they're not hard pressed for wins right now. But now as they get into the back stretch,
I think he's been raking along his 2 stops in minors though this year, like combined 321. All the advanced metrics and stats line up, so he should be a decent addition to that lineup. I've been telling anybody in my fantasy league that, you know, for the last months you've been in on him. I've told you Shea Langoliers was finally called up. If you don't know the name, he was the guy that went to Oakland from Atlanta in the Matt Olson trade. He was the Futures Game MVP this season. Definitely a polished hitter prospect for your fantasy.
Who are the Yankees bringing up? Toast is saying you're bringing up
Estevan Florial.
He's not a stud. I mean, he's good, but he's not a stud. Everybody knew who Florial was. This is not his first stint.
Is it Florial?
Well, Florial's getting called. They're calling up somebody else, though, I thought.
Oh, I don't know.
Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have your mic is not hooked up, by the way. Shout out to your mic not being hooked up. It was like last second of you coming in. It's over here. I mean, I can fuck with it real quick. But anyway.
Okay, so thank you, Ibby, for the
Beatty
correction.
Okay.
Or not correction. He
it's
said
Beatty
I was
day.
Correct.
Get it? Got it. Good.
So yeah, nonetheless, the Yankees are calling up a stud.
Mm-hmm.
If he's better than minus 2.9 in like loss above replacement, because I don't know what the exact advanced stat was that they used on Aaron Hicks, but Aaron Hicks is the worst player in baseball this year.
Is he?
Yeah, he's officially the worst player in baseball.
All right,
this year.
that's
so,
$10 million. He must sleep well.
But when he gets into one, man, it's pretty.
Oh, yeah, great.
Very rare though.
Very rare. Griffey-esque, beautiful bats, like backswing and everything.
In like the spirit of the card breaks, if you see an Aaron Hicks home run, it's likely a 1 of 1, right? So it's very rare.
It's now an NFT. And, actually, it's that rare.
Yeah, if you get a like an autograph on the bat, 1 of 1 Aaron Hicks home run, whoo. It is
worth the cost of at least one beer.
So we don't want to talk much about the Yankees because they stink. So
well, the other prospect they're calling up is Oswaldo Cabrera, who's a switch hitting infielder.
Okay. Well, I like.
Hooray!
Put it this way, I like guys that have.
Who are we throwing down, or is this? Yeah, who are we sending down? Is the real question here.
That has not been said.
Well, I think Holmes is injured.
Clay Holmes got hurt?
Yeah, he's on the IL.
Oh, for the love
of
there's
fantasy
one roster
baseball
move.
And then
here.
I would imagine
it's
Hicks has to be gone, right? You would imagine.
No, they're not going to DFA Hicks. There's no shot. No shot.
Well,
yeah, Scoop actually sent me a text yesterday about the likelihood of, or not the likelihood, the options that the Yankees have left. They don't have many guys that can be sent down. They don't have many,
but the rosters will expand soon too. So
yeah,
I'm not sure when the expansion date is on the rosters, but it's got to be.
Do I even have any other relief pitchers?
September call-ups. It'll be interesting to see. Most of these teams called up their guys already. You know, a lot of the prospects, it's way faster than it's ever been. Usually, you know, I guess the service time thing is kind of been shown the door a little bit with some of these clubs.
Aaron Hicks couldn't hit a bat with an autograph.
You can't.
That's really good. Sorry.
Did he hit a ball? I think we might have chopped that one up.
He couldn't hit off water if he fell off a boat.
We collectively chopped up that opportunity at a great joke because I did a bad job with it, and Hawaii Mike tried to pick me up. And
I'm sorry, with a broken back?
I don't think he broke his back.
10 days with a broke. All right, first of all, if it's 10 days, it's spinal. So, he definitely didn't, like, if he broke his back, he's out.
No,
out.
I mean, Derek Carr broke his back. Tony Romo played with a fracture in his back. Broken back. You would think, like, I guess he cracked his spine in half. There's many bones in your back that could have broken.
Oh, my God.
And it doesn't have to be as serious as they make it out to
turf toe.
What else have we got in baseball? We talked a little bit about the Braves, but the big news with the Braves is that they reached a deal with Mike Harris. Every time I say the name Mike Harris, people are like, who?
Officer Mike Harris of Woodbridge.
Right? Michael Harris, the outfielder for the Braves. He's a rookie. He's having a phenomenal season this year, much like most Braves rookies do.
Mm-hmm.
And they signed him to an 8-year, $72 million deal. Very Braves-like. I think he's underselling his talent because he's young and really good. And they gave him an option, 2-year player options to pick up a 9th and a 10th season, and it could earn him up to $102 million. To me, you know, a guy at his age, seeing the contracts that are getting given out in baseball right now, there's no way I would have taken that deal. But happy for him, he's going to get paid. The way I look at it, if he's getting $8 million a year, like $10 million a year, that's arbitration numbers for a guy with his numbers.
But if you actually think about it, like when these guys get those low numbers, which again, it's like insane that we call that low, but I'm saying like when they get those low numbers, they can almost like, it also all depends on how you live in life. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're making $1 trillion a year, then you might be a baller. But if like you go out there and you make $8 million a year, bro, we all live all collectively here under $1 million a year.
Yeah,
but we're all living pretty good.
But that's,
you know what I'm saying? It's all comparison and contrast. Like when you say the 8 million and he's like, oh, that's a little low. He can also say, like, you know what, I might stink in a couple years, but this shit's guaranteed.
Yeah, but
maybe it's a confidence level. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to like put life on it. I know you can't compare the two because it's a completely different thing, but like, I don't know.
All right, so Hawaiian Mike is coming in with some important information in regards to this, and it maybe sheds light on why he actually took this deal, because he's 4 years away from arbitration. So all right.
So yeah, so exactly. Right. So that's a good, good little
good deal.
Stat. What else we got, Gooch?
That just highlights how bad it is for these players too. He's 6 years away from free agency.
He
never signed a 6-year deal, but he's 6 years away.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of happened with Judge, right? I mean, he was a Yankee farm guy for like 4 or 5 years or some shit, and then they brought him up, and he's got to stay there for a little while.
Yeah, and honestly, Pete Alonso is going to deal with the same thing. He's old too.
Ruh-roh.
All right. You're not wrong. All right, so what
else we got? No more baseball. Yankees are going to win tonight and avoid the sweep.
We have a couple more baseball.
Okay, more baseball.
So Padres canceled Tatis bobblehead day. We won't touch on this because I will touch on this, but very briefly. Very interesting comments surrounding the Tatis situation. A lot of his teammates are coming out and dragging him, rightfully so. They're in a pennant race. They want to win, and Tatis is continually doing bad things.
Have they verbally actually like said like not F this guy in layman's terms?
Maybe this will pretty much make him learn. This is the second time he's done this. Was like along those lines from Clevenger. The GM spoke out and said he has to grow up publicly. Maybe the public shaming is what he needs, because now, while I do think it's an unfortunate situation, Tatis is dumb for not reading things, because in the situation you're in as a player or an athlete and you have these tests that pop up randomly, you have to know what you're putting in your body or on your body. In this case, he went to the barbershop, caught ringworm. The barber sprayed something on his ringworm saying, no, I could take care of that. It had a banned substance in it. So
is that really, like, I haven't dove deep. Is that really what happened?
Yeah.
So the barber,
I don't know if the barber
got him suspended for 80
I don't know
games.
if the barber sprayed it, because
there's no way.
But the medicine that he took from ringworm had a banned substance in it. So
knew that, but I mean,
it wasn't
it's a
like,
whole different ballgame. The barber sprayed them.
Here's the problem, that it was David Ortiz that made the comments, and I do agree with David Ortiz on this. It's just not something that I think Major League Baseball has much control over. He's saying Major League Baseball has to do a better job of protecting these players when they know the situation like this isn't an actual attempt at performance enhancing. And I say that because it wasn't like he's like, oh, my wrist injury, I want to come back from this sooner, so I'm going to take juice to get healthy better. He just had a bad situation, unfortunate series of events that took place.
Can I interject? I think he's full of shit.
No.
I think he's completely full of shit.
No, like it's not he's full of shit. It's almost widely acknowledged, even by the Padres now, and even by Major League Baseball. That's why David Ortiz has the problem, is because they know the ins and outs of this. They don't just not know. They do all their research a little bit before. This way, if there's an appeal, they have their ducks in a row. So when they issue the suspension, they draw a line in the sand, right? You can't not suspend them. They have to do that because of the ability to maybe lie or forge a document, i.e. Melky Cabrera. Remember that?
Yes.
Melky actually did forge prescriptions and shit to try and get out of it.
I do remember
so
that. Good old
you have
Milk
to draw a line
delivers.
in the sand and make it like, if you cross this line, you're going to get suspended. But I think there has to be at least somewhat of an obligation to save the player's image and save the image of Major League Baseball, to not drag your young stars and have them be vilified in the media. But I think that's more the media making headline grabs. The guy that posted the story or broke the story might have also had deep knowledge of the situation, but unknowingly took PEDs, and covering up for it isn't going to grab the headline the way the suspension will.
So what I'm saying is this: Kawhi Mike is saying like, what is it? Clostebol is ringworm treatment, okay, and that could be scientifically, medically proven, correct? But what I'm saying is, Tatis could have been taking this, popped, and then they said, all right, damage control time. What else can this thing actually cure, so we can make this up to make it seem like I was taking it for ringworm?
Yeah, but
that's what I think is full of shit.
Here's the thing. I'm not sure that right there is a performance enhancing drug. A lot of the things.
Then why is it on the list?
Because I'm glad you asked, Dave. Because a lot of times what they do is they test for enzymes that might be left in your body. They test for things that you might use as a masking agent, where it's not necessarily like, if you test positive for a masking agent, that's not a performance enhancing drug, but they know you're covering up something. You get what I'm saying? So
sure.
But in this case, I think that the doctor visits and everything lines up. I'm not positive, but from the stories that I've been reading is that it's like it really is an unfortunate situation. It's a lot like the John Jones thing with the UFC. The difference here is at least Dana White will come out and say, like, for all the things he said is bad about his fighters, when there's what's right is right. Like Dana White came out and said, like, John Jones shouldn't be suspended. This is a joke.
So Toasty coming in right now saying one is a steroid, one is used for ringworm. Ian Happ explained on his podcast. Fine. Then this little drug that you treat ringworm for should not be on the banned substance
But
list.
like I said, it might have
a trace of something else.
A trace of something, or it might be
bullshit.
It might be used for other things to cover up other things. So I'm not sure what the scientific use is or what happens physiologically in your body when you administer ringworm juice or whatever the fuck he's got going
slap
on.
it on. It's like the crop preserver. You
But
just slap it on, lather it up.
The one thing about all this, though, that still leads me to believe that he was totally juicing is the fact that he didn't appeal it. If he appealed it with all the evidence that he had ringworm, used that
Fair.
thing,
Fair.
but there's no appeal.
Well, there's no appeal because two things. One, there's no guarantee that just because of like an unfortunate situation, like did he take it? Did he unknowingly take it? Yeah. All right. That sucks, dude. You're not going to get your suspension reduced because of that. No way. And he's missing time now. He's already injured. So I think that they're able to do something like that. And if he appeals, he's already hurt. Right. So then they're just going to
trying to get back.
But get back to what? If they just hear
Health?
the suspension, he might end up missing the first 70 games of next year instead and still miss the playoffs because if they appeal it, he's not even ready to play yet. You get what I'm saying? So if he's not ready to play yet, just start serving your suspension now. If you appeal it, then they push the suspension back. You're able to play a little bit, and then in 3 weeks you're suspended.
Stimmy
get
came
it
back.
over with.
Stimmy OG has made his return.
What's up, buddy?
I've caught cluster ball before. Very itchy and hard to get rid of. I love that kid.
The only other thing about this too, you have to kind of wonder how much of it could theoretically be put on the Padres organization themselves, because you got to think after all the shit that he's pulled this season so far with the motorcycle accident, now this,
Oh my god!
you would have thought that they would have like kept an eye on him and been like,
what about all this
monitoring
language?
him?
What about all this language in all these crazy new contracts? You know, like you can't do this. He's got to study for this amount of time.
You can't
could
get
have
a haircut now?
No,
but
I'm not
just
saying
don't go to the
haircut.
DR for a haircut.
Right. Just don't go there. They're probably the best guys to do the beards and stuff like that. But you know, just
But
watch
they
what
have
you're
them
doing.
in
Don't
Perth
be an
Amboy.
asshole.
Just go to Amboy.
Just go to Perth Amboy.
You don't
New
have
Jersey.
to go all the way
You're
to the
perfect
Dominican
over there.
Republic to get a good
Go to my
fade.
boy Diego right here in Mattawan. Go to Jimmy the Barber over in Ford. There's so many barbers out there. Stop going to these guys that are going to spray you with bad stuff.
You can't have you can't have it. You can't have a contract clause where, or you can't really follow a player around 24/7, especially if he's on the IL. You know, he's kind of when you're away from the team and you're not there every day. You know, you're kind of doing your own thing, rehabbing. He's an adult. They can't follow him around. That's just crazy. And
got some breaking stuff going on here, but go ahead. Coming in from AJ Bascone, but go ahead. Sorry. Didn't mind that. Mecole Hardman just got carted off the field. You talk about a team that needs every receiver known to man without Tyreek Hill. That's big. I never understand, like, the carted off the field is one thing, but it's like, did practice stop or did he just like get on the cart just so he doesn't have to walk? It could have been a stub toe. You know what I'm saying? So I would wait to hear more.
My imagination is it would be a lower leg injury and they carted him off as a safety measure. But a lot of times they.
I was so mad that we just interrupted the baseball talk.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's Tatis in a blender. We'll see what happens with all that as that plays out more. But you got more. You got Spider.
Yes. So no,
not yet.
Rodolfo Castro. Does that name ring a bell to anybody? Rodolfo Castro
related to the other Castros of the world. All of them?
No, not Fidel.
You're the one who said it, not me.
So Rodolfo Castro.
Miguel.
Nobody knows who that is. I'm sure Toast does. Rodolfo Castro was also suspended. Does anyone know why?
He had ringworm.
He had a cell phone in his pocket. So the MLB cracked down on
him
this
for
kid
that?
for the cell phone coming out of his pocket, sliding into third base.
He was on Tinder on
I guess
deck.
it made sense, but there's really nothing wrong with a 21-year-old on a cell phone. So
when they're playing baseball, it is. Like,
oh God, get off Dave's lawn.
I'm not. Nobody's on my lawn.
I
saw the video and I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, wow, the guy has his cell phone, so clearly he has a cell phone in the dugout. But to suspend, that's a little.
I do want to mention one thing right here, just before we leave the baseball talk. with the Braves signing Mike Harris to an 8-year deal,
Officer
that means
Mike
that they have Mike Harris, Austin Riley, Acuna, Swanson, Olsen, and Albies all locked up through 2030,
2032 or something.
2032. So they got a nice little nucleus going on there in Atlanta.
And I'm sure
shout out to the Mets. You're gonna have to deal with that
too.
shit as they get better, I guess.
All right, so now we're moving on to the NBA. So
Not long, but
small little tidbit here.
Little.
KD, there was a picture surfaced on social media of Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum working out together on the heels of the Celtics and the Nets trade talks, or lack thereof for that matter. And the Celtics came out and they refuted any reports of a deal being discussed at any point. They said there was initial conversation, but what the Nets asked for was a complete joke, and that like they have since not talked.
But I think it was Nick who said yesterday it was like, oh, they were like shooting around together. Yeah, it's like, come on,
means
man,
nothing. That's NBA players do that all the time. So the Knicks and the Jazz have re-engaged in trade talks surrounding the Spider, Donavan Mitchell. So Knicks fans, you could either be at each other's throat over this one, because I feel like he would be a good player. I don't think he's the player the Knicks need, but we'll see how that plays out. Just don't give up too much for him.
Ooh,
football news.
Before we move to football, something on the cell phone. Good call by Toast. It's like if he has his phone on vibrate and like they send him a text or something saying like fastball, and your ass vibrates. You know what I mean? Like you'll know fastball's coming. So yeah, then yeah, suspend him. He like that is a good with all the technology bullshit that we just went through with all the Astro stuff. This is another way to do it. Do I think there was malicious intent behind this kid bringing a cell phone? Probably not, but that's a very, very good point. Toast.
And also, I mean, like that's a fast text. I don't know, man. Like text me when the sign comes, and then you have to text it, and I have to receive the message.
Maybe they have an open chat. Like it's like right there. It's like right.
Wasn't there some shit with the?
Can't imagine it.
Don't remember the exact details, but it was like the Yankees and the Red Sox with like Apple Watches or something.
Yeah.
Shorty at the map.
You can't remember the details because the Yankees have paid
too much today.
Millions of dollars to keep those details secret.
I don't know who Facebook user is. Justin Fields, the poor man's Mitch Trubisky. We'll get into the Bears in just a little bit, but head on over to YouTube and watch us over there. Like the video, do all that stuff. Please like the video if you're watching right now. There's a bunch of you. Like the video right this second. Do not waste another time.
Okay, so we got through all the fake sports. No, I'm kidding. They were both real sports. But now we're on to the realest sport of them all. Zach Wilson underwent successful knee surgery yesterday, so he is out for up to a month, probably a month.
Flacco time, baby.
Keeping it in the AFC East, Malcolm Butler was placed on the injured reserve with a injury. I don't know which kind, but he was on the IR, and I think they also placed another corner on the injured reserve.
They're in trouble at corner, man.
I'm not sure if it was their starting left and right corner, but two corners in one day. This giving me a very, very Ravens-like situation over in New England this year.
Tough sledding.
What else do we got? Derwin James, the breaking news of the day.
Yeah.
Derwin James is now the highest paid safety in the history of the NFL. I think not rightfully so, but it could be.
Who's better safety?
Who's a better safety?
Sure. Conversation piece.
Put me on the spot off the top of my head.
You think like Honey Badger's better?
No.
All right.
Are you talking active or?
No, I'm talking guys that retired. I want to know how much money they're making.
I just think that Derwin James, there was an injury. I think it's right.
Oh, Minka.
Yeah, same thing. I feel like Minka Fitzpatrick.
Harrison Smith.
Yeah, I think he's the most overrated.
He almost choked out CeeDee Lamb last year. What a dog shit move that was. But I would say Minka. Yeah, that's up there as far as Fitzpatrick is one of the top safety.
Jorgensen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple out there, but I think so. What Derwin James just did is what
about Jorgensen, by the way.
I know. What Derwin James just did was reset the market. So now all you safeties out there, you young upstart safeties, this is now your bottom line. So congratulations to everybody who's make more than that going forward. I'm pretty sure Fitzpatrick just signed a deal though.
Yeah.
So this guy, James jumped
he's probably
him.
Got like 0.5 more.
Yeah,
over the course of 4 years.
Eric Weddle, love Weddle, greatest move of all time. That's exactly what Gronk is going to do. By the way, this year,
put him on. The
Gronk is coming back to the Bucs in January when they make the playoffs.
Eric Weddle's a fucking tool.
Okie dokie. Phenomenal beard though. Beard game very strong. Anyway,
and that is it for my rundown. Back to you, Dave.
Back to me. All right. Well, I will let you guys know that part of the Chop Sports Daily is being brought to you in part by the Fusco Insurance Agency. Please, I had a great talk with him yesterday, as a matter of fact. He's got a lot of things lined up. But if you're worried about any money in retirement, you can go over to FuscoInsuranceAgency.com. You can call 718-701-5787 to schedule your complimentary consultation. He'll help you create a comprehensive retirement plan. So if you're looking to retire, I know a lot of our older folk are and you need a retirement plan, Fusco's your guy. Call them 718-701-5787. Guarantees and protections are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company. Some insurance policies are not available in all states. And he's also now offering financing. You have to have a 540 FICO score. I got my FICO score the other day. I was very happy, very pleased considering how much debt I'm in. No, I'm kidding. 540 FICO score or above will get you financing starting at $300. You can do that with the Prestige Finance. PrestigeTaxFinancing.com/business financing. Also want to give a quick shout out to our good buddy Steve Aspara, who's working on chopsportsmedia.com's new relaunch. Our friends over at Dat Chat, which again, phenomenal app. I was exploring more yesterday, and I was telling Rob this the other day. It's a great thing. It's like you say something outlandish or you feel like you're going to get some flack for it, nobody can screenshot it. So that's like one of the biggest privacy things that those guys work on Dat Chat. And I'm not encouraging anybody for any kind of hate speech or anything like that, but if you do, know that you're not going to get totally in trouble for it. And of course, those are that. And Gooch got something from Manscaped.
I do. So if you have hairy nuts,
nice,
go on to manscaped.com, use the promo code CHOPSPORTS, order the Manscaper, the Lawnmower 4.0, shave your balls, and then thank us because you got 20% off. Back to you, Dave.
Wow, that was the quickest read of all time. Not feeling it today? You're not feeling your balls?
No. We'll talk.
No, I got an email this morning.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's as soon as possible.
Yeah. Ralco called the other day. I don't know.
So anyway, back to the nuts. No, actually, we'll get into the Chicago Bears. The Bears are next on our list. We talked about the Lions yesterday. I gave them a solid, hard-fought 7 wins. I don't know if you agree with that, but their over-under was 6.5. I gave them 7. I watched another episode of Hard Knocks last night. By the way, great series. I now have one of my new favorite players in the league, Amon-Ra St. Brown, for what he said, and I'm sure you missed it and did not watch it or did not indulge in any Hard Knocks
I
stuff.
already do like him a lot.
Yes, well, now you're going to love him even more. His father is used to be Mr. Universe.
I know, because his brother was a Packer, so I know all the fucking
right. So they all work out together and stuff like that. And you got to hear his dad. His dad's old school. He's like, water. What happened to spit? You know what I mean? Like
Goggins.
Right. Basically, definitely a David Goggins. But the better part about St. Brown's interview was that he was able to roll off 16 wide receivers taken before him in a row. Like he has that in his mind now, where he knows how many people were taken. So it's a nice little chip on the shoulder story, and I'm a fan. So I'm in on the Lions, like I said yesterday. But let's talk about a really bad team in the NFC North, and that's the Chicago Bears. Last year finished 6-11. Justin Fields was a rookie last year. He comes into the league. Did they have Nagy the whole time, or they fired him? Nagy was there for a little bit, or wasn't there? I forget.
Yeah.
Nagy was there for a little bit, got fired.
I think that he got fired maybe like the last week of the season. They held on.
They held on to him for dear life. Okay, so they did him a favor. They probably didn't fire him around Christmas time or whatever like that. So Nagy sticks around, new coaching staff, new GM, new everything for the Bears. The problem is the new front office inherited a lineup in which they couldn't keep anybody around, which really sucks. There was a lot of key losses for the Bears, man. A lot of key losses. And once again, Facebook user, please go on over to YouTube. The link should be in the description. If not, go over to youtube.com/chopsportsmedia, and we're live over there. So I can know who I can talk shit to.
Or just click on the YouTube app.
That too. You can do that too. Anyway, a lot of key losses here for the Bears. Okay. Obviously, starting with Khalil Mack, he's out of town. Goodbye, right? Goes to San Diego, L.A. Allen Robinson, another guy, goes to L.A., just the other one. He goes to the Rams. Akeem Hicks, they dropped him off the face of the earth like he was nothing. He signs with the Bucks. I know it's not going to sound like much. Andy Dalton, he's gone. No more backup. They did sign another backup, but then they lost Big Dick Nick, too. Nick Foles, out of town. Goodbye. He goes to the Colts. Pat O'Donnell. I know you all know who Pat O'Donnell is. You don't, but he's a punter. And when you lose a punter, that's a big deal, okay? I don't care who you are. It's for the brand, and we all understand that punters are people too. Damian Williams was a backup running back. He heads out to Atlanta. How bad of a situation do you have to be in to leave the Bears to go to the Falcons? Like, holy shit. Nobody else wants you? Marquise Goodwin.
Finances, they paid him.
You're right. A few cornerbacks left. Their gains. Not much. Not much. Ryan Griffin, the tight end, awesome. Neil Harry, I believe he's hurt already, so he's on the mend, I guess. Byron Pringle from the Patriots, the Chiefs. James O'Shaughnessy, which is the most Irish tight end in the league. They brought on Darrington Evans, who was one of the backups for King Henry last year. I remember they were like combined 2 running backs to make one Henry. He was one of them. They do bring in Trevor Siemian to back up Justin Fields. Look, it wasn't that great. I will say a couple good things about their draft, though. Okay. They bring in, let's see, Kyler Gordon, right? Cornerback. 18 college games started. He never let up 1 touchdown, not one. So that's something to be cool about. Braxton Jones, offensive lineman, in 3 years of college football, only let up 3 sacks. So these are little stats and nuggets that I'm trying to pull out for the Bears. I'm digging here. I'm digging.
The lineman's giving up a sack week 1.
Valence Jones Jr., receiver, 286 yards last year after contact. Beast mode, right? So I'm grasping here for the Bears. I really am. I'm trying to at least. So Justin Fields is your quarterback into year 2. Year 1, I feel like you could probably agree that he didn't live up to expectations at all. He did flash some good, right? Everybody's like, oh, he's got some legs.
My expectations.
I mean, you're a Bears guy. I mean, you're a Packers guy.
Look at Lamar in his rookie year. I think Justin Fields, out of all the quarterbacks from last year's class, has the ability to make the Lamar Jackson type leap. And he doesn't really have the support that Lamar had on that team.
Yeah.
But great quarterback play changes a lot. And that's the only chance the Bears have, is if Justin Fields is that dude. If he is, then they could win a lot more games than they're giving him credit for here, because they do play in a weak division.
You're sold on, when you say weak division, you're just talking about they played with the Lions? Because the Vikings are okay. A lot of people are taking the Vikings to win North.
People pick the Vikings every year.
Just to be right? Just to be right? Like those guys? Like, I knew it.
The Vikings.
I knew it. No, I don't believe
everybody in the North right now, and I say this, like the only team that has any continuity up top, front office coach, is the Packers. So when I say weak division, there's going to be maybe a surprise team or two, but understanding that 2 first-year head coaches, but then like the regime in Chicago and Minnesota, the front office is all new, right?
Yeah.
So the Lions, I think they've been at it for a couple years now together with the Campbell and situation like that, but still young team.
Yeah. You're on the Montgomery train or no? As far as David Montgomery?
I'm a big Montgomery fan in terms of, I think he's highly underrated. He gets a lot of goal line usage. I'm talking fantasy reasons right now. Like David Montgomery is quietly very productive, and he's been the heart and soul of that offense for 3 years. I think he's a 4th or 5th round pick, and he's been a starter since day 1. There's a little bit of mileage adding up. He did miss 4 games last year, but I do think Montgomery is not the problem in Chicago.
No.
He's a good player, and anywhere else. And he also catches the ball pretty decent.
Here's the problem. Behind Montgomery is Herbert, which we all kind of agree that he was a good supplemental back to have. He's no fantasy value whatsoever, okay? Unless Montgomery goes down.
Though, right?
Herbert? No. Khalil Herbert? No, he's still there. The receivers, the pass catchers, but receivers and tight ends. You didn't do much to help your second-year quarterback out. And while both of us are on Mooney, we think Mooney's going to be good, right? We think he's going to be a good player in this league. Outside of him, you bring in Byron Pringle, right? And then you bring in like Dante Pettis and your tight ends, Cole Kmet. It doesn't seem like the Bears gave a shit about Justin Fields' progress in year 2, knowing that it's like a 5-year plan or something like that.
The Bears put themselves
if you're a Bears fan, you got to have a lot of patience.
They put themselves up against it, though, by acquiring Justin Fields, because they gave up all their draft capital, so they didn't really have an opportunity to give him help via the draft this year. And it's a tough place to bring players to go play. Soldier Field is a dump, right? The turf is terrible. People get injured on that shit all the time.
It's not turf, it's grass.
But the turf that, I'm not saying artificial turf. Turf is just a playing surface, right? So
that's just science.
Yeah. So like I can't see them really signing a big time free agent. Name one. Everything they've done,
I looked at, like I said, their biggest splash of free agency was.
I'm talking about historically.
Oh, I don't know.
Like they don't really sign free agents. Allen Robinson signed there as a free agent.
But then that's really it. Like if you think about it,
maybe a couple guys on defense might, be down to go play Bears defense.
How about the fact that Roquan Smith still wants to be out? And there's been rumors now.
Allen Robinson?
Say what?
Didn't they draft Allen?
No, Jaguars did.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You're fired. What'd you say?
No,
Scrub.
You don't believe that.
You don't believe that at all. Allen Robinson, Penn State, wide receiver. No, but Roquan Smith linked now to the Cowboys. I know there's a couple rumors swirling around that Roquan wants out, but he wants a new deal. The Bears are clearly swimming in money, which And I mean, they're not. So
Well, any
Roquan's
NFL,
getting moved, I
all,
think.
all the well,
And they want a third.
they all have
That's
money,
not a lot.
but the Bears, for as bad as their roster is constructed, they don't have much for free agency. Right, like forget all the owners are million.
I get that.
They all have the money.
There is a lot of focus on their new stadium. Hawaii Mike's coming in saying, new stadium that they're trying to build a new Soldier Field.
No, they're Chicago, according to Lori Lightfoot, the Chicago mayor, they're gonna get a new team if Chicago moves to Arlington, because they won't be the Chicago Bears still. They'll be the Arlington Bears. No, they'll still be
where there are no Bears. Actually, there's no Bears in Arlington.
There might be.
I mean, I've been to Arlington plenty of times. I've never seen a bear.
I mean, I've been to Rockaway plenty of times. I've never seen one, but my sister lives there and she has. So doesn't mean that there's not.
You're just talking about actual encounters with bears. Scoop got a kick out of my roar last night for the Lions. That went somewhat viral.
In February, there was a polar bear in Arlington.
He's such an
But
ass.
by the way, we're talking.
There was a
about
polar bear
Chicago,
sighting in Arlington, Texas, in
Arlington,
February.
Illinois.
Son of
I
a
know it's
bitch.
weird to think. What? What? That's like saying there's a main street in.
Wait, first of all, there's definitely
like-
no polar bear in Arlington, Texas. You're gonna make
fucking polar bear in Arlington, Texas. A video of it.
Some guy captured it in
Let it out
Alaska
in his
and brought it
backyard,
home.
right.
There's like Burmese pythons.
Will this
in
fit in the
fucking
overtop
Connecticut.
storage bin? I'm not sure.
How do you even know there's an Arlington in Illinois in the first place?
Chicago and Green Bay are the only two teams in NFL right now that don't have a naming rights over their stadium. Like it's Lambeau Field and Soldier Field. Every other team in the league, all 30 of the
Is that by
32.
design?
I mean, it's like
Is that by like we're just trying to be
it'll
classic?
be a hot day in Green Bay when they change the field from Lambeau Field. Like that's not going to happen. It's not going to
That's
happen.
just like
No?
now aren't the
Giant Stadium switched.
The Giants didn't even have a stadium ever. They've shared it.
well,
I'm
it
just
was
saying, they
Giant-
switched
it
from
was
Giant Stadium to MetLife.
until they switched to MetLife.
It's horrible.
MetLife is a fucking
MetLife looks like a tin
dump.
can.
Yeah, Dave.
Wrapped up. Oh, I bought my
Dave,
tickets yesterday.
Dave, every
Cowboys,
stadium,
Giants, week
every
3. Let's
stadium
go.
changed.
I can't
I
wait
think
for the
that
Giants
the
beat
reason
Cowboys
why
Sunday.
Are you talking over there? Shut up. Anyway,
the
go
reason
ahead.
why the Packers won't change, I think the Bears will eventually. The Packers might eventually as well because money changes everything.
I was going to say, like, who's Mr. Lambeau?
But the Packers don't have an owner,
You are a part owner of the Green Bay
figurehead.
Packers.
But yes, I
I'm
make
still
all the
gonna
big
kick out of
decisions.
that shit. It's fantastic. Anyway, back to the Bears. Playing at Soldier Field this year. Their schedule is not very favorable. I found myself, I'm not going to go through every week because it's hard. I played the whole find me the wins game, right? And what I saw within the first 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I give them 2 wins in 6 weeks. One over the Texans at home and one over the Commanders at home. That's where I'm at. Losing to San Fran, Green Bay, Minnesota, and the Giants in New York. I don't know. It's iffy, man. And then in the next stretch, lost to the
Sounds like
Pats,
a-
lost
like
to Dallas,
actually
lost
easier
to the
schedule than
Dolphins.
I thought.
Maybe they split with the Lions with the game in Chicago. Give them that one there. That's 3. They're at Atlanta. And if I think Atlanta is going to be the number 1 pick next year, or maybe the number 2 pick next year, they can win that game in Atlanta. Maybe Justin Fields, listen, it's all on him, man. He has to pull every single goddamn rabbit out the hat you've ever seen in your life to make this team competitive. I truly believe that.
I think
Montgomery's going to be
Justin
good.
Justin Fields, I don't want to predict injuries, but he's going to be running for his life back there.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough.
They're not
sledding,
going
man.
to. Justin Fields is going to have to make the defensive coordinators around the NFL respect him and his ability to stretch the field a little bit. Mooney is good. Cole Kmet, I think, plays his ass off. He's got a motor, but they just lack talent on the outside, big time. And
Ready for this, though?
8-man fronts are going to be a regularity for the Chicago
At their
Bears, no doubt.
bye, I have the Bears at 4-9. They play 13 games before they get a bye. Their bye comes in week 14. So if they're looking for that playoff push at the end of the year, it's not going to be existent. They'll lose to Philly, they'll lose to the Bills, they'll lose to Detroit at Detroit, and then maybe they'll squeak away with a win against Minnesota in week 18. I got the Bears going 5-13. So it's going to be tough sledding, and I'll take the under on the wins because, like I said, unless Justin Fields is just this miracle Willie Beeman type interjection of where he's just going to make every single play no matter what, then maybe you squeak a couple wins.
How many times do you think you're going to see an 8-man front? You're going to see Darnell Mooney beat his guy
and
one-on-one,
just won't be found.
and he just won't get the ball.
Yeah, he won't
It's
be
going to
found.
happen so much, and it's going to maybe even put a little too much credit to Mooney because he's beating one-on-ones every time.
Yeah.
most receivers should be able to beat a one-on-one.
Mhm.
But he's just not going to get the ball still.
It's a
Tough
shame, man.
situation.
I mean,
it's weird. I hate the Bears, but there's so many of their players that I like because they're so harmless. It's like a friendly neighborhood bear.
it's a friendly bear.
That I like David Montgomery. I like Mooney. I like Allen Robinson. That's it. I don't like anyone else.
He goes, I like so many bears, rolls off 3, and he's like, you know what? Fuck it. That's enough. That's enough bear love. Something Scoop's into. Feel me?
No, I wasn't listening.
Yeah, of course you weren't. Why are you here?
I don't really know.
He's here to pick up his brand new Trevor Longface Lawrence autographed helmet. Look at that bad
Such
boy.
a pretty lady he is.
He's so pretty. I took everything out of me not to sell that bitch yesterday, to be honest with you. Hard times. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so that's congratulations to Scoop for winning that over at the Break Buds. You can tune in. What are you guys doing? Sunday? Another Sunday Break Buds, 8 o'clock from the studio, probably right from here. We're gonna make sure that when I leave here Friday, that it'll be like
You need to get a photo op for that. Go ahead.
yeah. Like, I had somebody, a honey boo boo looking thing, text me this morning or message me saying like, "Hey, I want to be your sugar mama." God sent 1785.85. I don't know. She wants to pay me $1 million in Bitcoin. So clearly that's going to happen. I'm going to reach out and say, please do it. Also, I want to make an announcement. Well, are we done with the Bears?
I think the Bears are even done with the Bears at this point. Yeah, the Bears won't make the playoffs.
No.
I don't know what the odds are, but they're abysmal to make the playoffs or make a push.
Probably
I feel like the odds
relatively low.
The Bears are in the running for the first pick this year. They have a young team and they're not that good. They don't have any draft capital to help them, and they're still a young team. So new head coach, new front office.
Kyle asking a money question here. How can I support that memorabilia giveaway you guys are doing? We'll talk because I got an idea right off the rip. So we'll talk about the sauce. Sauce, are we still doing the Thursday show, bro? Because I gotta know. I gotta figure this out. I gotta lay out my schedule. I gotta black out rental dates. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure we're all ducks in a row. I know the trailer's probably far gone. You probably don't want to do that anymore. But if we're gonna do anything, let us know, please. You need a copywriter. Oh yeah, Ashley's doing the copyright thing. You can always talk to them. Like the video, guys, please, and thank you. I do have an announcement. Yesterday, I applied Chop Studios to a I applied Chop Studios to the New Jersey Film. I'm an asshole. I don't even know the name of it.
It's a group it's a directory where we get put on a directory
Yes.
where if somebody's looking for studio work, they will now see our names pop up or Chop Sports pop up.
Yes. So that's a dope thing. We got accepted into that today. So our Chop Studios will be floating around here. I had a great meeting yesterday with a friend of the show, Tom Bentley. He came in here, loved the place. Like some people walk in here, like even LaCour yesterday, kind of walked in here and was like, oh, like, I didn't know, some people might think that this desk is really small and like we have just this back, but nobody knows actually, you won't know unless you come by. So come on by.
Yeah, schedule a free tour
Yes.
and a content creation course coming soon to Chop Studios.
Yes.
Seriously, I'm going to do one every I don't know the dates yet.
But
But it's going to be like one Wednesday night a month. I'm going to pick like the third Wednesday of every month, and I'm going to just have an open forum where people can come in and we could kind of get people to see the facility. And when you see the facility, you're going to want to record something. I can promise you that. So if you're into content creation, come by the studio, check it out.
Yeah, do that. So anyway, that's the Bears preview. I know it was rough sledding. I know Madison's going to have a fantastic time editing through that one as she gives me the thumbs up from over there. Listen, it's your last week, so I'm going to make sure I work you to the bone here, okay? So you're going to earn that paycheck of $0.00, and so are you, Nick. But tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Is tomorrow Thursday already?
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow at some point I will turn the camera around, or I'll have you guys sit in. Like you guys are gonna get some FaceTime tomorrow. So be prepared, be camera ready over there. I'm not talking to Madison, by the way. I'm talking to Nick. I want you guys on here to tell the masses of what your experience was with working with Chop Sports. It's like almost like a testimonial to see like.
Can I do it too?
No, you are not allowed to do it, Scoop. Sorry.
I was touching the
You got to wear your Trevor Lawrence helmet.
You have to dig out the underscoop and wear that
okay.
on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look like Peyton Manning.
Basically looking like Peyton Manning, yes. All right, that's a show. It's been a short one today because, like I said, internet woes. We got everything figured out. But yeah, hopefully going forward we have no issues. So that's that. You got anything else? preview anything? Oh, Howard Johnson with Till Mets Do Us Part. That's awesome. Get for Ibby and company. I think they're recording that today. as a
And they're
matter of
doing a
fact.
giveaway.
They're doing
So if you're a Mets fan,
Sorry.
shame on
No.
you. And no, go Mets.
I'm jealous.
Go Mets. But yeah, go figure out what's going on with the giveaway. Reach out to Till Mets Do Us Part on Twitter. Reach out to Matt Ibanez on
Ibanez. He's Spanish now, by the way.
Raul Ibanez.
It's spelled the same.
I know it's Ibanez. That's how he pronounces it.
I mean, he calls himself Ibby, so yeah, Ibanez. I would assume that's because if it's Ibanez,
I have a hard
then
time
where did
with that.
Ibby come from?
Ibby, I'm just gonna stick with Ibby.
Okay.
Because it's Raul Ibanez. How could it? That's what I think of.
Well, there's that thing that's on top of the N, right? What do you call that? Somebody.
I call it a thing on top of the
with
end.
it. What do you call it? The thing on the top of the
Apostrophe.
to make the nya sound
The
instead of.
apostrophe.
It's not an
It's a
apostrophe.
Spanish apostrophe. What the fuck are we talking
It's a
about?
Spanish apostrophe.
Accent mark.
It's not an accent mark, is it?
I'm pretty sure it's.
If you're wrong, I'm gonna be really mad because I said that with conviction back to you. Like it's not that. No, it's not like horse. It's Ibanez. So where the fuck did Ibby come from?
IB.
I would even call it. I would call you Ibby.
Well, that'd be weird.
Why? I be calling him Ibby.
Enye is like,
What?
well, it's an additional letter, the N with the squiggle over it. Is that what you're talking about? Or the actual?
I think that's how you say N in Spanish.
No, yeah, that's
I am El Nino. All of you other tropical storms was bow before.
Yeah,
I don't have it. It's called a tilde.
Tilde. Matilda. There it is. Done. It's called a tilde. The little, the little that makes the nya sound. Wow, this is educational. See, it's fun and educational, like the Spanish Turbo Man. Somebody hit me with it.
Interesting that I
Oh, this Turbo Man.
I know
Anyway.
there's going to be something that I wanted to talk about, but didn't.
Well, we got time. It's not like we're pressed against it.
Oh,
but-
I made a fantasy football trade yesterday. This is good for the back
Awooga,
end. So
awooga.
look, I'm breaking my own rule, but this is interesting because we're talking about a dynasty league,
Mhm.
right? We don't really talk much about dynasty leagues because they're a little more rare and the masses don't do them. But I'm going to touch on it now because it's the end of the show where we have some time.
Mhm.
And I
Please
made a
go
trade
on.
yesterday. I'm going to give you the premise.
Ah, yes.
So you have to keep 12 guys. I've talked about this specific team before on this show with the
Okay.
running back situation. So my running backs I had 6 deep at running back. None of them were great. Chubb, Cam Akers, Dobbins, Elijah Mitchell, David Montgomery,
Yeah,
and AJ Dillon were my 6. You have to cut down to 10
You
guys.
have cut down days?
12 guys. Yeah. So
That's amazing.
I had too many guys. I wasn't really looking to drop any of those running backs. My receivers, AJ Brown, Mike Williams, Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore. So none of them are really droppable. Kittle was the tight end, quarterback Dak. Right. So my
Championship.
logic, I know you're not going to like this,
And
but
you didn't trade
my
Dak,
logic
did you?
was going to be to cut. No, you can't cut a tight end in a 12-man. Like what? Kittle will be the first pick,
15. Who cares?
as opposed to keeping.
You're 6 running backs.
I get it what you're saying, but here's what I did. So I had Dak and I had Kittle at tight end. Those are the guys that rounded it out. My initial process was going to be to drop Dak
Oh,
because everyone else is keeping a quarterback. So I could
Bastard.
have probably just drafted him back, but kept the player. You get what I'm saying? Like
in that regard, sure.
I would have probably gotten Dak with the 7th pick.
But you're
because
not allowed to hold 2 quarterbacks?
I didn't have any.
No, I'm talking about
But
anybody
why-
else.
But why would you take Dak over Brees Hall, Drake London if you have a quarterback?
But later on in the draft, he's
No, no, no.
available.
There's everyone's picked.
Uh-huh.
Right? It's we start round 1 is round 13 because everyone's got 12 players.
Oh.
You know what I'm
okay.
saying? So
Got it.
the best player in the draft is Brees Hall. Drake London would be second, in my opinion.
So it's all the rookies, really.
So it's the rookies and then anyone that was
Dropped.
cut from a good team that had too
Got
many
it.
players.
Roger.
So which was I would have had to cut AJ Dillon or Dak. I would have cut in Dak. And I was between Montgomery and AJ Dillon. I think Montgomery is a better player this year, but I think AJ Dillon.
But it's dynasty, so you got to
Yeah.
hold on to the.
So
When's
I ended
Jones'
up-
contract run out?
2 years, but
Yeah,
I think
so-
he's potentially this is last year, depending on the language of the contract. They have an out. That said,
done.
I traded Elijah Mitchell,
Okay.
AJ Dillon.
You traded Dylan away. Very unpacker fan of you.
I'm in 30 leagues. I'll have him.
Okay.
AJ Dillon, and I traded AJ Dillon, Elijah Mitchell, and Kittle for Mark Andrews. And I took my 3rd round pick and swapped it for his 1st round pick in the upcoming draft. So now I have 7 and 9 in the rookie draft, and I don't have to cut anybody. And I upgraded a position. So I upgraded Kittle.
You think it's an upgrade?
Kittle at 100. Mark Andrews had 107 receptions last year. They lost Hollywood Brown. I would imagine his target share might go up a little bit.
I don't know. I've always liked Kittle.
He
I'm just a Kittle
outscored Travis Kelce last year by like 40 points. Mark
Andrews did?
Yeah. So, yeah. I
And that
think,
was, you know what, though? That's
and he's 6 years younger.
a testament to the backup quarterback that played over in Baltimore. He was force fed a lot when Lamar was down. Young rookie quarterbacks are always looking underneath. You know what I mean? So that's why the receptions total was up.
And they have nobody else to well, he did have a better season in the 4 games that Lamar Jackson was hurt by a lot. So you were right. Huntley was a better quarterback for Mark Andrews. But nonetheless, I think it was a solid trade. Everyone in my league is bitching about it because they're saying that I got ripped off, but both teams are better because I had to cut those guys anyway.
Well, if you're out there saying that you didn't get ripped off, then you didn't get ripped off.
No, I know.
That's
Both
it.
teams are better, but
There's no argument.
here's what I say. Anybody that's running a dynasty keeper league, and this is how my league will be run, you will not be able to make trades until after you cut down to your keepers because you can't use guys that aren't on your team to bolster your keepers. I just think it's kind of whack. But I'll take advantage of it. That's our show.
I was just going to ask, and somebody did ask details on how Dave traded out of the 12 to the 5. Well, what you do is you find the drunkest kid in the league and you make sure that he's awake at 2 a.m. No, I got a text and they said that they didn't like the 5. They liked the back-to-back shit. I didn't like the back-to-back this year. We did do an entire mock draft with me being back-to-back. When the team was drafted, I'm like, oh, that's a decent team. But I'm like, I didn't love it. But when I did some mocks at 5 of what I could potentially get in the rounds 3, 4, 5, I was like, you know what? Sign me up for that pick. So we swapped. That's it. Done. There's your details. Anyway, please like the video if you're watching this. Please subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about us every day, Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock. We go live here on the Chop Sports
No,
Daily.
Sam, it's not.
What?
Good.
Is that our league? No, it's not. We haven't
drafted yet, so I don't have all those players.
No, you're the
Scoop,
one
we're
and
talking-
final champion.
Scoop, we're talking. I'm in talks with about 48 people.
Yeah.
So
So that's good. I've gotten those same messages. Are we doing a Chop League this year? I'm like, dude,
Here's the thing.
who actually,
Bro,
besides Scoop, who won it? Who enjoyed that?
no, but I think that
I didn't enjoy that shit.
The
I just
whole
said besides
idea,
you.
the whole idea
Raise your
of
fucking hand.
the reason why it wasn't enjoyable is because it was a 16-man league. That's
Right.
over. That's over. So, but
I
anyway,
realize that you keep winning things. This is kind of bullshit. I'm actually kind of, and now your fantasy baseball team's doing really well too.
There will
It's
be
like,
some fantasy
fuck is
leagues
going on
going
here?
around for Chop because I've been asking around for. I want to get in 2 more leagues, but
you had time for that?
Dave, it's fantasy football. I watch football on Sundays. It's like literally what
But I'm
I
saying, if
do.
you really want to win, you got to be like, you got to be watching the waiver wire. You got to watch, you know what I'm saying? When you spread yourself too thin, it's just like, I feel, how many leagues am I in this year? 3, I think. 4 if you count your dynasty league, which I don't know if you should even call it a dynasty league because that means everybody has to come back next year. I don't think that's going to happen. That's just me. I'm not, listen, I would love to be optimistic
Not
about it, but
worried
I just know how baseball went. I just saw how baseball went. And I know that's not a dynasty
Baseball's
league.
not a dynasty league.
Yeah, but I also saw half the league drop off the face of the earth because they just didn't give a shit or they got busy or whatever.
That's fantasy leagues in general. Yeah, I try to do a good job of monitoring it and keeping on it, but
I don't know if he's watching the chat, but yeah.
who?
Yeah, I don't know. Scoop's over there watching. Too bad he can't win a soccer bet, according to Kyle Kerms, which now is your soccer player. Actually, you know what, Nick? I might have an opportunity for you.
And yes,
You're a
Dave, I
soccer
could
guy.
do 7 leagues easily and compartmentalize them all well. I don't even look at them when I set the lineup.
You're a
I
set and
watch.
forget?
I set my lineups, and then I keep it moving. That's it. I watch the Packers and I root for their interests, and then the scores are going to be what they're going to be. I don't even attach myself to rooting for one. I might pick a team that I'm like, this is the one that I'm going to like really care about, and it won't even be the most expensive league. It's an investment. It hasn't been working out the last 2 seasons, but it's an investment.
Listen, I'm only looking at it from your Sanity's point of view. That's all.
Yeah, and what Hawaii Mike is saying is very true. Usually like most of my teams kind of line up the same way. You know, I'm after
warlock.
I'm after the same free agents in every league. I'm after the same guys.
Well, yeah, of course you are, because you're playing fantasy
yeah,
football.
so it's not hard. It's like,
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, all right, I got to go to ESPN, now Yahoo, and now NFL.com, and now the Sleeper
so
app. and now all this.
every single Sunday of my life for the last 23 years, just fucking games, apps. That's all I've
I
ever
can't wait
done.
till Hater
So, come
fantasy
on, bro.
football. That's what I'm excited about. My boys over there are Hater. You guys think you've mastered that shit. Wait until you try to pick players that suck.
I'm not a warlock, by the way. I think that's like a version of a troll.
Warlock.
something,
Yeah,
right?
no, actually, a war.
I'm a warlord.
Warlord.
I have
Yeah,
all my
leave up
little
the band
warlocks.
to get that wrong.
My players are
Yeah,
the
Goose
warlocks.
thinks he's a warlock. You're wrong, Pesci.
Fantasy football warlord.
Yeah. All right. That's enough. I've had enough. We got work to do. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll be back tomorrow with the Minnesota Vikings. You like that? Huh? See I play on words there? For Sturch and Gooch and Nick and Madison and for whatever reason, Scoop, this has been another episode of the Chop Sports Daily. We'll see you guys right back here tomorrow. Subscribe, like, do all that shit. Set your reminders. Hit the little bell thing. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.